While a boy named Josh Lambert is sleeping peacefully in the dead of the night, a mysterious figure is seen standing outside the window. From another window, a demonic old lady appears holding a candle. Years later, Renee Lambert wakes up early in the morning alongside her sleeping husband, the grown-up Josh Lambert. The couple has recently moved into this house, and Renee goes through the unpacked belongings. When she does, she sees the family album and watches her old wedding photos. Her oldest son, Dalton, has just woken up. He tells her he doesn't like his room. Renee reassures her son, telling him he'll get used to it. She then shows him some pictures of her as a teenager. Seeing pictures of his mother as a kid, Dalton is amazed. So he asks to see his father's pictures, but unfortunately, Renee tells him there aren't any in this album and explains that Josh is hopeless at keeping photos. Shortly after, the rest of the family is up, and Renee has to prepare Dalton and his younger brother Foster for school. She also has to feed her baby daughter Callie and prepare the coffee for Josh before he goes to work. After Josh leaves for work and the kids go to school, Renee is home alone with her baby daughter. She practices her hobby of playing the piano and singing, but stops when she hears Callie crying on the baby monitor. She goes upstairs and soothes the crying Callie. After putting her daughter back into the crib, Renee checks the attic. As she turns on the light, she accidentally breaks the ladder rung. However, nothing is there. That evening, Josh comes back from work to say hello to his kids and wife, who can't find her music sheet box anywhere. During this time, Dalton is playing with his toys when he hears the door to the attic creak without anyone touching it. This piques the kid's curiosity as he checks the attic and climbs the ladder to switch the light on, but he steps on the broken ladder rung before he falls off and hits his head. As Josh and Renee spend some quality time with the kids downstairs, Dalton sits up in the attic and is shocked after seeing something. Just then, Josh and Renee are startled when they hear Dalton screaming in the attic. This makes the couple uneasy, as they rush upstairs to check on him to find that he fell off the ladder. Much to the couple's relief, Dalton is okay, only he's bruised on the forehead. After ensuring Dalton can stand on his feet, Josh carries Dalton to his room. There, the couple tuck their son in, kiss him on the forehead, and say goodnight. The next morning, the Lambert family continues their usual routine, and Renee prepares breakfast for the kids.
Foster, can you finish your eggs, please?
Only Dalton is not awake. Josh goes to wake him up and playfully calls him Mr. Sleepy Pants. Peculiarly enough, Dalton doesn't wake up. Josh gets worried and tries to rouse his son from his sleep, but to no avail. The couple takes their son to the hospital, and much to their dismay, the doctor named Serkars tells them he couldn't find anything wrong with the comatose Dalton, given that there's no brain damage, trauma, or infection. The doctor also tells them their son doesn't react to stimuli, and that all of the scans are normal.
I'm sorry.
This weighs heavily on Renee. She is sure that Dalton must wake up, given that his scans are normal. She's certain there's something the doctor can do. Much to her disappointment, the doctor says, "Sorry," confirming that there's nothing he can do. 3 months later, the hospital releases the still comatose Dalton into his parents' care at home. Renee is so distraught and scatter-minded, she can't focus on playing the piano when she hears a weird voice on the baby monitor. She turns up the volume and listens closely, only to hear a man's voice saying, "Give me it, I want it." Just as the man's voice becomes louder, Renee is startled and rushes to Callie's room. There, Renee soothes the frightened Callie and checks the room, but no one is there. That evening, Renee tells Foster goodnight and assures him that this will pass soon, but to Foster, that's not the case. He reveals to his mother he's afraid of the comatose Dalton when he walks at night.
I don't like when he walks around at night.
Which Renee finds unbelievable. Shortly after, Foster looks at his brother in the opposite room and locks himself in. Just then, Foster hears some creaking and thudding outside his room, prompting him to run to his bed and hide under the covers. During that time, Renee tells her husband about the voices she heard on the baby monitor. Josh dismisses them as nothing and adds that the monitor might have picked up somebody else's signal. Just then, the couple is startled by a bang on the door downstairs. Josh goes downstairs and peeks through the window, but he can't see anything. He opens the door and says, "Hello?" However, no one is there, so Josh locks the door and activates the alarm in case someone breaks in. Renai hears Callie crying over the baby monitor. She goes to check on her, and just as she opens the door, she spots a stranger standing behind the curtain. Renai is shocked to the core and yells for Josh to come. When Josh rushes to her call, he checks the room to find no one there, while Renai is positive that she saw someone. Just then, the house alarm is sounded, and Josh has Renai take the kids to hide in Dalton's room. Josh checks downstairs, only to find the locked door broken. Clearly, somebody walked in, so Josh turns off the alarm and arms himself with a poker. He checks around the house, but much to his confusion, no one is there. Josh gets startled when the alarm is sounded. He rushes to the door, locks it, and turns off the alarm. The next day, a nurse named Adele stops by to check on Dalton. Renai asks if Dalton responded to any of the new tests the doctors made, to which Adele says no. She advises Renai to be patient and give it time, but at this point, Renai is certain that Dalton is not in a coma. She's convinced that something else is going on with Dalton, something that even modern medicine can't explain. After the nurse leaves, Renai removes the covers. She finds the stain of a big, blood-red hand on the sheet right beneath Dalton's foot. Seeing it, Renai is frightened to the core. She calls Josh, who is working overtime to pay Dalton's bills. She tells him to come home. When Josh returns home late at 10:30, Renai tells him she feels scared being alone in this house. She also tells him that this house is haunted, which is why she wants Josh to be by her side. Not believing her, Josh tries to be reasonable and says he can't since he's working overtime.
You think our house is haunted?
Hearing this, Renai accuses him of avoiding stressful situations, but Josh denies that and assures her he deals with these situations his way. Renai tosses Josh the blood-stained sheet and tells him to deal with it his way before she goes back inside. After this small argument, Josh sleeps on the couch for the night. Meanwhile, Dalton is sleeping in his room, but someone's hands appear on the window. From this nightmarish dream, Renai startles awake, screaming in horror and panting. After regaining her composure, she glimpses someone walking on that balcony and is frightened. She thinks that it's probably Josh, but that thought shatters when that someone walks in and reveals himself to be a long-haired fiend glaring at her. Horrified to the core, Renai starts screaming as the fiend starts screeching and going after her. Josh snaps awake to his wife's screams. He rushes upstairs to check on her and finds her screaming in horror, telling him there's someone in the room. As Josh checks the room, he sees no one there. As Renai sobbingly swears she saw someone, she begs Josh to believe her and move out of this house. She can't stand another night in here. Worried about his wife's well-being, Josh comforts her and promises to find a new house first thing in the morning. Days later, the couple moves into a new house with the help of Josh's mother, Lorraine. After she plays some music, Renai does some housework and takes out the trash. Just then, something catches her eye. Through the window, she sees a boy inside her home dancing to the music. Renai looks out another window, only to find that the boy is not there. To catch this little brat, Renai rushes inside and looks for him. Just then, the boy runs to Foster's room. Renai follows him there and closes the door to ensure he won't get away. She spots the rocking horse moving. As she stops it, the door of the room pops open, startling her. Renai rushes out to hear the boy laughing in Dalton's room. Renai checks it out and suspects that the boy is hiding in the cupboard. As she goes near it, the masked brat startles her and runs away. Now that she's haunted wherever she goes, Renai breaks into tears. Not knowing who to talk to about this stuff, Renai talks to a priest named Liam for a confession, hoping that it will end the haunting. Just then, Josh returns and the priest decides to leave. When Josh asks about the priest, Renai tells him about the incident with the masked boy. Josh is skeptical about it, but Lorraine assures him she can relate to what Renai is experiencing because she herself had a dream the night before. In that dream, Lorraine went to Dalton's room and saw a black, tall figure standing in the corner. Lorraine asked him who he was, and the figure replied that it wanted Dalton. Now, Lorraine can still hear his voice. Just then, Lorraine sees a red-faced demon behind Josh before she freaks out and screams in horror, while Josh wonders what is going on with her. Just then, loud thudding noises are heard from Dalton's room. The three rush to check it out, but the door is locked. Josh breaks the door in, only to find the room in an utter mess with the unconscious Dalton lying on the floor. Josh checks Dalton's pulse, and thankfully, he's alive. Still, no one knows what's going on, and the Lambert couple are on their wits' end. However, Lorraine tells the couple she knows a woman named Elise who can help.
I know someone who can help.
Josh has no choice now but to use his mother's help and call that woman. Elise's guys, Speck and Tucker, visit the Lambert couple. It turns out that Elise sent them ahead so they could do some tests on the place. With his tri-field meter, Tucker checks the atmosphere of the house for any bad wiring that might cause hallucinations. When his tri-field meter starts beeping, Tucker takes out his camera and detects two scary women fiendishly smiling at him. Terrified, Tucker steps back and tells Speck to call Elise. The woman named Elise stops by afterward and says hello to the Lambert couple. Sensing something, Elise decides to walk through the house. She goes to Dalton's room and says hello to the comatose Dalton, but is stopped when she senses some dark spirits in the room. As she glares at it, Elise describes it to Speck and has him draw it fast. That weirds out the Lambert couple, who are itching to know what's going on. Renai snatches the notebook from Speck and finds the drawing of a red-faced demon hovering in the room. After walking around the house, Elise tells the couple what's going on. It's not the house that is haunted. It's Dalton himself who's actually haunted. She explains that Dalton is not in a coma. He just has a special ability for astral projection. This ability allows his spiritual body to leave his physical body and go to another realm called the Further, where the tormented souls of the dead are.
Have you ever heard of astral projection?
What's worse, Dalton's spiritual body got lost in the Further, and what's more, there are some dark souls with insidious agendas trying to steal Dalton's body and use it to attack the human world. To save him, Elise needs to get Dalton's spiritual body back into the physical one. The only way to do this is a bit unorthodox. It might work, but it might fail as well, which is why Elise asks for the complete trust of the Lambert couple. While Renee wants to go on with this method, Josh has had enough of hearing about this astral projection and the Further thing.
No, I'm sorry. This has gone too far.
He thinks all of this stuff is some well-cooked hocus pocus, and that Elise is scamming them for their money. Despite Renee begging him to give Elise a chance, Josh sternly says no and shows Elise out. Josh then sits by the unconscious Dalton and reassures him that he's right here, not in some other dimension. Drawings pinned to the wall of the room catch his eye. They are drawings of the same red-faced demon Elise described. Josh breaks into tears and realizes Elise was right. That night, Josh calls Elise back and has her do her work. While Tucker records the session, Elise conducts a session to connect with Dalton's spirit, while Speck writes down exactly what Dalton is saying. At first, Speck manages to talk to Dalton. However, the session goes horribly wrong when Dalton cries, "Help me." Just then, another demon intercepts the communication and vows to kill them all. Elise and Speck start screaming, so they stop the session. A demon controls Dalton's body and attacks everyone. The demon is so powerful that it wreaks havoc in the room and effortlessly slams Speck against the wall. The long-haired demon appears and attacks the Lambert couple, but Elise holds Dalton's body and yells for the demon in it to leave. Thankfully, the demon leaves Dalton's body, and much to Josh's relief, Dalton is still alive. In the aftermath of the session, Tucker analyzes the recording of the session and spots the red-faced demon behind Dalton's body. Shortly after, Lorraine arrives after Elise called her. She reveals that Dalton inherited the ability of astral projection from his father, Josh himself. While Josh is shocked, Lorianne reveals that the spirit of a demonic old woman used to haunt Josh in his sleep when he was Dalton's age. Lorraine then shows the Lambert couple Josh's pictures as a kid. To the couple's shock, the same demonic woman looms behind the young Josh in every picture. At the time, Lorraine consulted Elise, and Elise told her not to take any pictures of Josh to let him forget, explaining why there weren't any pictures of Josh as a kid in the family album. Given Josh's ability to astral project, Elise convinces him to use his ability to venture into the Further and find Dalton's spirit to bring it back into his body. Having no choice, Josh says yes to save his son. Using a metronome, Elise hypnotizes Josh. Josh opens his eyes and finds that nothing has changed. He stands up and says this is useless, but looks behind to find his physical body sleeping on the chair as Elise watches it. Josh can't believe what he's seeing. Elise informs him he's now in the further and instructs him to look for his son. Exploring the further with the lantern, Josh runs into the younger Josh, who silently points him in the right direction. Josh sees a woman dressed as a bride ascending the stairs. He follows her there, but finds another woman weeping in the corner. Josh asks her about his son, but he gets no reply. Josh then hears some whistling downstairs. Josh goes down there to find an old man reading a newspaper and two women in the same room. Josh shines his lantern near their faces, but none seem to flinch or react to his presence. He flashes the lantern in front of the older woman, who is ironing the clothes. She doesn't react, but blinks once afterward, shocking Josh. While the old man keeps whistling, Josh continues to look for Dalton, but stops when he hears a lady cocking a rifle. Just as Josh asks her where his son is, the lady disappears in the blink of an eye and hears 3 gunshots in the parlor. Josh goes there only to find the 3 in the parlor shot dead by this woman. Josh looks at the bodies, but is spooked afterward by the woman's psychotic smile. After stepping away from the parlor, Josh hears some shuffling upstairs. He looks back at the parlor, only to find that all 4 are standing right in front of him. Spooked by their smiles, Josh rushes upstairs to find a red door, just like the one in one of Dalton's drawings. Just as he approaches it, the long-haired demon appears out of nowhere and attacks Josh. This causes Josh's physical body to shake up, worrying Renee and Lorraine. The long-haired demon fights Josh, but Josh can't beat him. However, Elise encourages Josh and assures him that he's strong. Josh yells at the demon, telling him, "Get away from me," before he pushes him and sends him flying away. Much to Renee's relief, Josh's body stops shaking. Meanwhile, Josh goes through the red door to find a candle-lit path where he finds a big figurine of a horse, similar to the horse in one of Dalton's drawings. Josh finds a spacious candlelit room where he finds Dalton crying. After the father and son hug each other in a tearful reunion, Josh finds Dalton's foot chained to the floor. Just then, the two hear some music upstairs. It's the red-faced demon who hasn't spotted them yet. Dalton is horrified, but Josh reassures him the two of them are going home. Just as Dalton is freed from his chain, he signals his father to look at the upper floor. Lo and behold, the red-faced demon has just spotted the two. As the latter stares at the demon reappears right next to him in the blink of an eye and knocks him to the floor while Dalton flees the room. Josh's body starts shaking in the real world. In the further, Josh manages to carry his son and run out of the attic. In the real world, the house starts shaking more. At this point, Elise concludes that Josh has found the long-missing Dalton. Now he has one final step. He needs to find his physical body to return to the real realm. In the further, Josh carries Dalton and tries to find his way out in the dark. Just then, all of the spirits in the further surround him. Josh's physical body starts shaking, and so does the house. Every light bulb in the house shatters. Renee talks to the unconscious Josh and urges him to follow her voice. Fortunately, Josh and Dalton hear her voice in the further and follow it. In the real world, a minor noise is heard upstairs. Specs goes up and finds an open drawer. Just as he's about to close it, a hand is extended trying to catch Spec. The horrified Spec runs back to the parlor where the rest are and tells them what has just happened. Hearing this, Elise has Spec and Lorraine check on Dalton. As they did, a herd of these dark creatures burst out of the closet. They've made their way to the real realm. While Lorraine blocks the closet door, some of the spirits enter the parlor. Elise has Tucker shine the light on Josh to guide his spirit back into his body. In the further, Josh finds his way to the house. Once inside, Josh sends his son ahead, only for his son to find the red-faced demon screeching at him. Dalton hides in the bedroom, but the demon pops up and holds him by the leg. However, Dalton breaks free from its grip and runs away, while the demon gives chase. Josh confronts the old lady who haunted him during childhood. Amidst her evil laugh, Josh yells at her, "Get away from me!" The woman retreats into the darkness. As Renee tries to awaken the unconscious Josh in the real realm, a horde of evil spirits swarms the room, trying to take Josh's body. Just then, Josh gasps awake, and the evil spirits vanish, all in one go. At At the same time, Dalton finds his way back to his physical body and wakes up from his 3-month-long sleep. Lorraine warmly hugs her grandson and carries him to Renee, whose heart is filled with joy. Seeing Renee reunite with her husband and son, Elise can't help but smile at the heartwarming sight. In the aftermath, Tucker reflects on what happened and decides to make a picture book out of the pictures he took. Renee feeds her son spaghetti and has a lovely mother-son moment with him. While looking at his childhood pictures, Josh thanks Elise, who then tells him, "Just doing my job."
No, I didn't.
Not wanting anything to do with the further, Josh hands his pictures to Elise. Just then, Elise's smile turns to a glare when she suspects something is wrong with Josh. When Josh asks what it is, Elise says it's nothing. She secretly grabs the camera and takes a picture of Josh, catching him off guard. Josh is pissed. His attitude changes 180 when he exclaims, "Why did you do that?" At this point, Elise looks at Josh, horrified. Josh snaps and chokes her, hysterically asking her why she took a photo of him. Renee hears her husband shouting upstairs. She checks the room and gasps in horror, seeing Elise's body on the chair. Renee yells for Josh, asking where he is. She finds the camera dropped on the floor. Just as she checks it, she gapes. When Josh handed his childhood pictures to Elise, she noticed Josh's old hand and dirty nails. When she took that picture of Josh, she found that Josh's body was possessed by a demon. Using Josh's body, that woman attacked Elise and killed her. As Renee gapes at the picture, Josh calls her name and puts his hand on her shoulder. Just as Renee turns around, she lets out a horrified gasp.